"I've got red in my ledger, and I'd like to wipe it out," murmured the red-headed punch-kicking lady assassin and part-time mewling Quim to Loki in the first Avengers film. Can you wipe out that much red?" replied the impossibly haired smirking mischief Pillock. "No, as it goes, and here's why. I'm Ben from What Culture, and here are 10 things Marvel wants you to forget about Black Widow. Number 10. There was almost a Black Widow movie. There's still time, I know there's still time, but this is more indicative than anything else of Marvel's failure to believe in Black Widow enough to give her a film earlier. In 2004, before Marvel got the rights to the character back, Lionsgate had a Black Widow origin film in development. The draft script involved Natasha being trained as a child assassin and given the Black Widow super soldier serum before defecting from Russia to the US. It was written by David Hayter, the one and only voice of Metal Gear Solid Snake, and also a screenwriter for the original X-Men films. The film was eventually cancelled when executives decided that various female-led film flops were due to people not wanting females in their action films, rather than, people just wanting action films that weren't terrible. Number 9. She maybe had a brother. A lot of Black Widow's life before she was taken in by the Black Widow program is unknown. She may be descended from the Romanov royal family, but not much else has been revealed. The series Shadows and Light did reveal a bit about her family life, though. In the story Freefall, Natasha fought a supervillain called Vindictor, who claimed to be her brother. According to him, Natasha was the only one saved by their mother from a house fire that seemingly killed the rest of the family, but Vindictor had survived and swore revenge on the sister who he felt had left him to die, even though presumably she was a little girl. Kind of messed up. Then he was killed by Black Widow at the end of the story and was never mentioned again. The problem is that it was later revealed that Natasha had actually been around since the 1940s, which completely contradicts the idea of her having a brother who wasn't an old man by that point. Number 8. Her terrible first costume. Black Widow's most well-known costume is a simple black bodysuit with a belt and wrist gauntlets. It's fairly basic, but it exemplifies the character's practical nature. In her initial appearance, however, Natasha was working undercover to assassinate the KGB defector and former Crimson Dynamo, Anton Vanko. As such, her outfit only really consisted of a black dress. After that, though, she started fighting Iron Man as an actual supervillain and so adopted a costume to go with it. It was a weird combination of some sort of full-body stocking and a tiny cape, a look that seemed less World's Deadliest Assassin and more Lady of the Night. It wasn't until Black Widow became a hero and started hanging around with Daredevil that she switched to her more iconic costume. Number 7. The Marvel Swimsuit Specials. Back in the 90s, Marvel Comics were far more concerned with just making some money than decency and taste. Dropping all but the thinnest pretense of plots, each special featured a series of splash pages depicting your favorite heroes engaging in some summer fun in scantily clad swimwear. And note the lack of gendered pronouns there. For a cheap bit of titillation, they were surprisingly progressive in appealing to both sexes. For every image of a bikini-clad She-Hulk, there was one of Wolverine suggestively skewering a sausage. Nice. Still, it's hardly the kind of thing you'd want to try and justify to your parents, and the more modern Marvel would probably rather you forget about the picture of their ultra-serious super spy looking like she's flirting with the sun. Number 6. She was a failed fashion designer. When Natasha decided to turn over a new leaf as a hero, she began fighting crime in New York City, teaming up with Daredevil in the process. The partnership eventually led to the two of them starting a sexy relationship. They then decided to move to San Francisco to start a new life together, which is lovely. As part of this fresh start, Natasha needed a new civilian identity and a new job to go with it, and after a mind-boggling leap of logic, this resulted in the merciless assassin Black Widow deciding she was going to become a fashion designer. Thankfully, this idea did not last long and her career failed to take off, but the stress of this caused Natasha to eventually break up with Matt, and she went back to fighting crime by herself. Number 5. She kicked Daredevil when he was down. Relationship with who? As part of one last attempt to be remembered as a major villain, a suicidal Mysterio decided to try and drive Daredevil insane. He did this by using his illusion powers to trick Matt into thinking a newborn baby was actually the Antichrist. It was a story that pushed Daredevil's faith and sanity close to their breaking point, a situation that was only made worse by Bullseye killing his ex-girlfriend Karen Page. Throughout the story, his former lover Black Widow tried to help Daredevil and stop him from making a terrible mistake, as in baby murder. And at the end of the story, Natasha approached a physically and emotionally broken Matt Murdock and told him that she still loved him. However, she also said that he was too full of anger and that she would never get back together with him, so fuck you, I suppose. Eh, DD? You'll be alright. Number 4. She was taken out by a ricochet. In Black Widow's earliest appearances, she was a spy working for the KGB, which meant she was often pitted against Iron Man in her attempts to undermine the US. Since guns and karate aren't incredibly useful against a guy in a flying suit of armor with lasers, she decided she needed a partner to help her, and at that time, Hawkeye was on the run for a crime he didn't commit. He met Black Widow and immediately fell in love with her. It was fate. So nice. The pair both attacked Tony Stark, only for the battle to end with Hawkeye accidentally ricocheting an arrow off Iron Man's chest plate and into Black Widow's face. Recruiting an ally only equipped with arrows to take down a man in a suit of armor is rather foolish, but it also doesn't reflect too well on the planet's supposedly top marksman. I suppose you could call him a shit Avenger for wankers. Hashtag shit Avenger for wankers. Yeah, I went there. Fight me! Number 3. She failed to start her own Avengers. During the 90s, Black Widow was technically the leader of the Avengers, but it wasn't exactly a position you would want on your CV. Her job mainly consisted of organizing missions and working behind the scenes, and for God knows what reason, the Avengers decided the one to actually lead them in battle should be Black Knight. And to make things worse, everyone except Black Widow was then seemingly killed by Onslaught. Undeterred, Natasha set out to form an all-new Avengers team of her own. It was an embarrassing failure. Not only did she fail to recruit anyone, but she was also nearly sued by the Mary Stark Foundation, one of Iron Man's companies, for the unauthorized use of the Avengers trademark. The stress caused her to have a mental breakdown. Number 2. She's the most hated Avenger. As already established, it's obviously Hawkeye. Just look at him. You're an idiot, Clint. You're gonna get yourself killed. You have a wife and children. Think of your kids, Clint. You've got a bow and arrow. Clint! In 2015, a study by social media analysts Brandwatch found that Black Widow is the most hated Avenger. Out of all of the team members from the first 2 films, and also Spider-Man, it was found that Natasha is the one with the most negative comments on Twitter. Now, there are a couple of important caveats to this result. Firstly, it was from a sample size of only 900,000 tweets, and secondly, it was only looking at tweets about Black Widow in a negative context, rather than one specifically about not liking the character. Basically, a tweet would still count as negative if it was by a fan of Black Widow who was just annoyed at Marvel for the character's relative lack of merchandise. Clint's the worst. Number 1. She betrayed a teammate. Back when Black Widow was the leader of the Avengers, the team's membership went through some weird changes. One of the stranger new recruits was the supervillain Madame Mask, who had reformed completely for some reason and joined to stop Iron Man, who, equally bizarrely, had become evil. When someone broke into Hank Pym's lab, Natasha accused Mask of betraying the Avengers, but sick of the constant mistrust, Mask quit the team and stormed out. It turned out, though, that the real intruder was a robot called Benedict, who then attacked Mask and dragged her away to an unknown location. He then handed a gold coin to Black Widow, suggesting that she had been in on it all along and had happily betrayed her teammate. And that's our list. Make sure you subscribe to the What Culture Comics YouTube channel for more lists like this, and don't forget to visit whatculture.com for daily news and articles. I'm Ben from What Culture, and thanks for watching.